Welcome to ExpandAbilities Meets, the podcast where mindset, resilience, and real conversations help shape complete athletes. I'm Alex.
I'm Robert.
Each episode, we dive into the mental side of athletic performance, the stories behind the struggles and the habits that help athletes grow on and off the field. Thanks for being here. Now let's expand our abilities together. Robert, let's get into it. So, there was a big story that went down a couple weeks ago that we mentioned previously. With my beloved Wolverines. They're just going through the ringer right now with Sherrone Moore. Sherrone Moore earlier this month was fired with cause from the University of Michigan for having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Now, here is where it did not stop. It just kept going and going, where he tracked her to her house, stalked her, and had a knife and said, this is gonna be my blood on your hands, and threatened to commit suicide right in front of her in her own home. Cops were called. He was arrested. He was taken to jail. What in the world? That's what I gotta say. I mean, like, this is a guy that is making $9 or so million, multi-million dollar a year contract at one of the best football programs in the country. I know you're an Ohio State guy, but you have to admit
Yeah,
it is one of the best jobs in the country. And
of course.
that's how it's being shared right now across all of college football. And that landscape is this is where you want to be. So why would you screw that up? And I bet he's thinking this girl screwed it up because she didn't want to be with him anymore. But here's the thing. He's married. He has little kids. He had the life all of us probably dreamed of at one time or another, right?
Well, you and I dreamed of that.
I
Not
mean, I would
together,
no,
but
no, no.
my
Mate,
wife and my kids and you, and your ambitions and everything. Yes, that's a life everyone wants to live.
yeah, I mean, I would love that life, especially being the head coach of Michigan. I mean, heck, if you were making $9 million a year, I'm sure you'd be the head coach of Michigan too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'd be a challenge. I love where I'm at the high school and the junior high, but I think I would take that job.
I totally get it. I love where I'm at too, but I think it would be a different adventure because the challenges would be different. There would be different types of adversity, different types of running that environment, which
Right.
where we're at now, some could argue where we're at now is a lot harder. I actually got an email the other day from a parent since our wrestling season's now over, and it said that my organization and communication is absolutely perfect. And I'm like, wow, that is quite a compliment given that I have 50 different families I have to contact and keep in the
Reach out
loop and
to.
work with. Exactly. So it's like
Yeah,
being told this from a parent, it's like, oh, we question ourselves. We have self-doubt when it comes to all of that, especially communication. I mean, heck, that's something all of us could get better at.
of
But
course.
getting that email in my day, I'm like, oh, like we're running a good program here. And the fact that I tell people that our system works. And I know because you and I have a very similar system in
Yeah,
the way we do things with our programs when it comes to, discipline, when it comes to responsibility, accountability, things like that. And I even said that the other week where some of my kids got in trouble, and of course we're ending our season and nobody talked to me. And I said, our system works. Our system works. You have to believe in it. You have to believe in the culture. Discipline within this setting exists. And since we're at the end of the season, there's nothing I can do. And we'll go back on that later, okay? Because we got a lot to cover. But real quick, have you ever gotten any email or notification from someone saying like, "Hey, what you're doing is great," and it just made your day?
yeah. I mean, yes, I have more positive emails, positive texts, positive thank yous than I have negative. They both will come. They both do come. However, as long as I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm doing it the right way. I'm, kids are always coming back and say, "Hey, thanks for all you've done." Matter of fact, one day I was at the getting supplies at the sports supply store, place
Yeah.
called Reed's. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Shout out to Reed's in Bloomington,
Yeah,
Illinois. Yes.
Reed's. All right, so I went there, and the kid I coached way back, and I must have been 27, 28.
So
And
like 60 years ago. Okay.
yeah, that's funny. Um, he saw me, say, "Hey, Coach Harris." I looked at him. Had to really look at him because now he's not 5'2", he's 6'3". Like, oh, okay, yes, I do remember you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so of course, that always touches my my heart when I run into previous students and athletes I
That's fun.
coach.
That's funny you said that because someone I work with now, who's a paraeducator, said she's dating this dude. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I don't know. We were just talking. Like, apparently some accident happened. He got hurt, or I'm not fully sure of the situation, but she was talking about him, and then she said, oh, he went to LaGrange, Lyons Township High School. I'm like, wait, I went there, and she's like,
Right.
no way. Like, that's such a small world. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Like, what's his name? Like, when did he graduate? Oh, like 2000 2021. I'm like, oh yeah, that's after me. And so I said, what's his name? Like she said, Owen. I'm like, who is it? And then she told me the last name, and I'm like, I coached that kid when he was in eighth grade.
Oh
Like,
wow.
oh
Isn't
dude,
that
it
something?
it, it was the biggest feeling old moment of my life, probably.
Uh-huh.
'Cause it's like, oh man, a kid I coached in eighth grade is now graduated from college. Like that is crazy to
Isn't
me.
that something?
But it was
How old are
cool.
you?
Yeah, it makes me feel I'm only 26 though. Okay, so back to our topic. That was kind of our feel good, like icebreaker, kind of like, all right, what makes us happy, right? But now we're back to everything going on because you got to think what we do, it's all about the kids. So yes, we can connect that to what we just talked about, where getting a note, getting a letter, getting told, hey, like you were a big part of my life, getting told that, hey, your communication's on point. It's a good thing, but at the end of the day, we do everything we do because of the kids, because of the players, right? And
Mhm.
so you're in front of these kids 24/7 all the time. These kids spend more time with us than they do with their families. They spend more time at practice, meets, tournaments, games, you name it, more than they are at home eating dinner with their families, more than they are eating breakfast on a Saturday morning, sleeping in. We spend time with them. We coach them. We don't only coach them on in the sport, but we coach them in life, right?
Right.
So translate that and put that in college form. College
Right.
form is like that on steroids.
And that's my question. And I'm not discounting anything that Sherrone Moore has done in the past. But I know working or coaching at a Big Ten school or probably any college, because I know how much time the high school put into it. But as far as college, how does he find time to do everything that he's accused of doing? Where does he find the time to do that? And not only run a double life, I mean, live a double life, you're living a triple life because you're coaching. That's one life in itself. Family, kids, and now you have
The mistress.
a mistress, yes, someone on the side. So how is he staying mentally focused, or is he staying mentally focused, on what's important?
It's probably why he lost to Ohio State.
It's possible, you know.
There's just a lot of stuff going on in his mind. But
Yeah.
then he's been suspended for other things too. The sign stealing, which that's a conversation for another time.
Mhm.
You know where I stand on that. Um, but he's been suspended a handful of games. Biff Bogey had to step in to be head coach for a couple games this season because of those suspensions. He was
Right.
suspended with Harbaugh last year and
Right.
early in the season. He took over as head coach, and we had some positive moments where it's like, oh, like this could be the future of Michigan football. Awesome, great. And I'll be honest with you, I was excited when he got the job. I'm like, all right,
Well,
he's never been a
yeah,
head coach, right? He's
I
already
know
beat
you
Ohio
were.
State. You
I know
remember
you
that?
were because we spoke. I mean, we spoke about this on our way to Michigan. Michigan, you were like so excited that he was the coach.
I
Um,
told you, and I quote when we were at the game, he's the man. I told the people around us. Now I feel like those words are firing back at me, like, oh man, like he's a man, but not the man.
not the
Uh,
man.
No. And so I'll lay it out like this. Okay. So what he did was wrong. I get it. Okay. Now, here's some backstory or some back parts that I guess people don't really think of. He's a college football coach. A college football coach devotes practically their life to college football. They are not around their families as much as someone who does not coach college football. Heck, being football coaches in our sector, we still put in a ton of hours. Imagine a college football coach, right? You're there
Right,
from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
right,
You sometimes don't even get to tuck in your kids. You might have to fly across the country for a game and not even be there to say goodnight. So you're devoting so much of your life towards this game and towards this team where, I mean, he's around other people, females included. This is not unheard of. Lane Kiffin, who we talked about a few weeks ago, did the same exact thing.
yeah.
So there's other coaches who have too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's morally good, but I am saying that it happens. It happens. And to get fired for that is one thing, but then to go on and do more and more things, illegal things for that matter, that's when it gets really more rocky because I'll tell you what, it happened. He might be like not a good guy because of that, but he probably would have got another job, right?
Okay, so let's do this. Let's shift our focus from Sherrone Moore because I feel that he's has enough
He has enough media attention.
media attention. Yes, he has
Okay.
enough.
All right. I respect that.
What about
Not just because he came from Michigan.
right? No, but what about what about Michigan players? That's where that's what I'm
Well,
concerned about.
absolutely, but at the same time, like I was saying that because I want the players to understand that too. Like
Yes, of course.
because this takes up players' lives just as much as it takes up coaches' lives. So that's why I was saying all that because there's a
Yeah,
lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts, and I feel like if Sherrone Moore would have just stopped at, hey, I had an inappropriate relationship, I got fired. It is what it is. I accept my punishment, right? I don't think he would lose all the players' respect, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Where I
But
think you could move on. But all right, back to what we were talking about. You're right. So the
how is
play,
it affecting? How is it affecting the player? How is it
it
affecting?
shocked them. It had to shock
Yes,
them.
because yes,
Like, hey, we went 9-3, right? We went 9-3. We had a great season. We're gonna go play Texas in a bowl game later in the month. We are going to we're gonna hopefully win this bowl game against a very good Texas team. At least put up a good fight. And then you see this news drop, not coming from your coach, not coming from the athletic director, but coming from news sources.
right,
It's like, oh man, like what's happening? And then your first reaction is probably, I need to get the heck out of here. I need a transfer. I don't know. I mean,
right.
what's going through their heads?
Right. A lot of distraction. They're thinking, man, this is another distraction that's coming down on our team, on my team. Do I want to continue to be a part of this team because of the continuous distractions year after year? I'm not Michigan is a great program. Regardless of how I feel personally about it, they are a great program. They're a great school.
Statistically, the winningest program in college football.
Right. Here, right.
You'd have to
So
roll your
here or
eyes, but yeah, it's true.
there. No, for real, here or there, but they're a great program. Now, over the recent years, that has gone to the wayside for various reasons. Some factual, some not factual, some, but that's just a fact of the matter. So you tell me what is the what is the selling point for a recruit or even a coach to come there and lead the program?
Well, and that's the big thing in the news is who is going to be the coach. All the coaches are already bought up in contracts or extended with their current schools and whatsoever, where it's really hard to find someone right now. So it's kind of like who's going to be our next leader, right? But one thing that just came out that I really like is that the Michigan players have not lost focus. Yes, some have went in the transfer portal. Some just want to be gone from negative attention. I understand. I get it. But let's be honest here. Football's the number one team game. You didn't go there solely for Sherrone Moore. You went there because you knew it was going to be a good education and you thought it was going to get you to hopefully to reach your goals with getting to the next level. But most of all, you're building teammates and relationships that will last a lifetime. And
Right.
so,
Maybe they're thinking, is it worth my mental capacity to deal with this?
there's more that goes into a commitment than just a coach. I understand it's a huge deal, especially if you're someone like Bryce Underwood. I'm sure Sherrone Moore went to his house, met his parents, did all that, had dinner with them, trying to recruit him, right? That's what they do. It's the game. And so I'm sure if you build that emotional connection, as us as coaches do, you have to build that connection with your athletes, then I'm sure it's hard. Like this is someone who, again, you spend a lot of time with. You spend a lot of time with. But all I think is just they shouldn't hate him. Just I say just um you go there for a mission. You go there with a mission. But what are they thinking? Is I guess your question, right?
Yeah, I'm not even concerned about whether somebody hates Sharon or not. I mean, clearly he's going through some mental health challenges.
Yeah,
Anyone that picks up a bar knife and says, I'm gonna kill myself,
absolutely.
you
And that's why
know,
he needs to
he
be
got
he
some,
needs help. And that's why I think people
yes, he
should
needs
step in
help.
that way.
And then not only him, his kids, no one's ever talked about that. They say, oh yeah, we feel sorry for the kids. But think about that. Now they have to go to school and everyone's looking at them. Thank goodness there's a break right now.
Well,
But
yeah, well, that's the worst part is all this is public news. The fact that, hey, your dad did this and it was gruesome. And he got charged with, what was it, a felony? So I don't know. Again, I doubt his kids know anything about that since they're really little. But the fact that that's going to be tagged onto their name forever. But then it's like going back to what I was saying, what's really standing out to me is these players right now, they're sticking together. They're there to accomplish a mission. Now, what they do after the bowl game is obviously their own destiny. I get it.
yeah,
Everyone has their own journey. But I think this is simply put where this is just adversity. Is it extreme? Absolutely. It's extreme. Is it not morally right? No, it's not. But at the same time, it's like nothing in life comes perfect,
right.
right? And And I think there's ways on coming back from this, and the way to come back from this is they have to rally together. Biff Poggi at the helm, I think um, they need to build a culture in that building that isn't based on Sherrone Moore, but is based on the team.
Yeah, and this is just my personal opinion. I feel that the program needs to rid themselves of everything Jim Harbaugh,
I agree.
that
It's
whole
a it's a
staff.
re it's a rebirth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they just need to
Yeah.
wash it all away and not rebrand, but rebirth. Be born again, in a sense.
Yeah. So like so here's the question then is, do you think that's why someone doesn't want to take it on? Because it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a struggle. I know they're not a losing team by any means, but emotionally they are a losing team because they're constantly in the headlines for negative press.
Right.
So you got to think whoever takes that on is going to be going through their own type of challenges because it's like they have to try to make this program good again. It kind of reminds me when Joe Paterno passed away at Penn State with the Jerry Sandusky stuff that was going on years ago.
Yeah, it's the same.
Someone had to rebuild it. So it was Bill O'Brien, right? Bill O'Brien what took on that role from the Patriots. The OC went to go to be the head coach of Penn State for a couple of years. I think James Franklin came right after, so only
Right
a
after
couple
that,
coaches.
yeah.
Yeah, so who is willing to take that on? And this really makes you question in life when something like this occurs, something serious, something gruesome, something harsh, and it comes just out of the blue, how do you handle it?
Right. Right. I guess what I know is they have to not take it at on the surface. whoever takes them on, they have to dig deep. They have to build um, guardrails for those students mentally. I'm sure there's something in place right now, but they have to make sure there's people there for those individuals, for those students, for those student athletes,
And tell them
whether they're
that it's safe to talk. Like you could speak your mind.
right.
I feel like that's the thing with society now is there's a lot of individuals who feel like they can't talk. Like there something's going to happen if they talk. Like I don't know if you feel that way. That's just what I've experienced. It's like there's just some type of fear where they just don't want to truly share their thoughts.
Yeah, because then they'll be labeled.
It's true.
That's as soon as when you they speak about somebody speaks about their mental health. Oh, hey, here comes so and so. Here comes so and so. They don't want to be labeled, so they hold it. They hold it in. And Sherrone may have been holding this in for a long time. Because
Years.
I'll be
That's it.
honest with you, it just doesn't. It blows my mind. Okay, you know what, Sherrone? Okay, you got caught. All right, cheat on your wife, whatever. All right, take it. You're going to get you may have been able to keep your job. Okay, you got caught. More than likely, you probably got fired. Okay, but now you go the extra mile and you break into her home, not knowing who's inside the home,
With two butter
and
knives.
right, and so some of the stuff is like I question not anything that he did because everything he's done is factual.
It's in the open. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, everything's
But
done
you
is
agree where it's like what you just said. If you leave it at okay, you had a mistress for years. Now it's over. He's still, yeah, yes, he got fired. He still would have got another job.
still got another job right away. More
Easily
likely.
within a couple days.
Right.
Probably like an OC job or I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: as a football coach, he's a good football coach. Obviously, he knows how to win. He knows a good offense. He has a good scheme. He
Connects with people.
absolutely he's good with the. He, it
He
depends
does. He
on.
connects.
He does. He
He
does.
connects well with people.
He
You
does.
know.
And honestly, I mean, just from talking to recent Michigan players, even those who are on the championship team, like they rallied behind him. He, as an offensive line guy myself, like he is an offensive line genius. They won the Joe Moore award twice in a
Yeah.
row. So it's like in 2021 and 2022. So I think
But I think that
coming back from it would have been a lot easier if he didn't go the extra mile.
right. But I think for Sharon, he has to look past football. He has to look past it. He has to look towards, hey, how do I
Family,
get better? How
family,
do I
faith,
yeah,
life.
how can I help my family?
Because here's the thing. His family, this isn't going to be, hey, 2026 rolls around and everyone's going to forget about it. This is something that will be brought up for years to come. And so his family really, they like his wife, for example, really has to question, like, what is the next thing for me here? If she wants to stay with him, okay, cool. That's a personal decision that's nowhere for us to judge or be a part of. And
Of course.
I hope people understand that.
That's right.
But and then if she wants to leave, same deal. It's her decision. But I really urge and recommend anyone who goes through these types of situations to question it. Like what is going to make you the most happiest? What's going to be best for your family? Where if you have kids, put them into consideration because right, like they are the most important thing. Those lives are precious, especially as young as they are, right? And so that's what should be on her mind. And so again, no judgment being thrown here. Everyone has a different life story. And I think the players got to understand that again, like we as coaches, we're developing young minds, right? Sherrone Moore was developing young minds. Yes, they're older than the minds that we develop, but still young minds. You're teaching them to be adults, Rob,
This
adults.
they're still 18, 19, 20 year olds. They're still very
Exactly.
young.
They're
Very
18,
young.
19, 20-year-olds who make more money than us.
Combined.
Times two. Bryce Underwood's getting what, 10 million a year, something like that. But I just feel like what hurts me is that Sherrone Moore took the role as a coach and kind of
Took advantage of it.
he took advantage of it, yeah, and he put a bad rep to it. And it's not just him. I know he's just the most relevant right now because he's the name we hear. But
Since
there's
the most recent.
there's other coaches who do it too. You know, they're
Oh, well, you know how I feel about one of them down
yes,
there in Texas.
yes, I do. There's coaches who take advantage of the name and
Yeah.
they think they're everything. And being a coach isn't about us. Being a coach is about them. Being a coach is about the kids. Being a coach is about the community. And every time that I run a team, I do a speech, I always say, when you wear this jersey, you represent yourself, your community, your school, and your family.
That's true.
So it makes you think there, it makes you think that there's a lot more than just you. So when someone else screws around, literally and figuratively, there's you're screwing more than just yourself.
You're screwing your community. You're screwing your school or whoever you're representing,
Yeah.
basically.
And it sucks because here's the thing, you're representing, and especially in Michigan's case, you're representing 70 plus players. You're representing all these coaches, these staff members, and
Present and former players.
exactly. And someone has the audacity like him to go over to this mistress's house and say she ruined it all. Like, no, she did not ruin it all. And so I just feel like what are you teaching your players if you can't take accountability for the situation that you've caused? We all do bad things in life. Sure, we're not going to go out there and hopefully, commit any felonies. That's not what anyone should strive to do. But, I'm a faithful guy. Life's full of sin, right? Sin is everywhere. And so you have to
We
accept it and move and
right. We all have challenges and we all have made mistakes. However, what we do with those mistakes, do we learn from them or do we keep compound them? What do we do?
you grow. You grow. You grow higher every single day. And that's the part of the journey. Like I think about that all the time, because that's the thing. Like you have to preach to your players every single time, and you got to be repetitive because it's not going to stick after the first time. And that's why I'm a huge fan of PJ Fleck. I love PJ Fleck. I honestly hope he gets the Michigan job. I've always been a fan of him since I was in high school. I had his row the boat mantra written down. I have it tattooed on my arm. I
Yeah.
have it, like I'm a huge fan of that and the culture that he brings to a program and the players. Because the way he says it is, row the boat, the oar is the energy of your life. The boat is the sacrifice, which in a football team works perfect because we're sacrificing ourselves on the line for our team for the betterment of this program, right? But we're also sacrificing time in order to make sure we can get to where we want, that we can reach our goals. But then the third part is most important, that's that compass. It's that direction facing north. And I just feel like when it comes to that situation, Michigan is kind of stagnant. The boat's not moving. They got to keep the boat moving. They got to keep the oars in the water in
And I
order to
think
keep
they
their
need,
lives on track.
yeah, as you know, the oars have six people up on each side on one of those speedboats
Yeah.
rowing in the same direction. I think they need to change those oars, get some different oars.
I agree. I agree. And it all starts with leadership. It all starts with leadership because this is something that could be on these kids' minds for a while. It's not something
Right.
that could just be, shoved under the rug.
Yeah. I mean that leadership doesn't even, I'll be honest with you, doesn't even start with Sherrone Moore, it starts with the person above him.
And
You know,
that's something they're looking at right now with
more likely,
their AD.
more likely they knew what was going on. I mean, people knew.
They did. They did. And that's what's been kind of, entering the news too, is this has been a years in the making type of thing. And it just ended, So it's when it ends, then, hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
But I think what's to learn is that, life happens and we can't hold someone we got to be accountable for and responsible for our own mistakes and wrongdoings, but at the same time it doesn't define us. It's not a label. I have full hope in my heart that Sharon can grow from this and hopefully make something out of his life moving forward. That's the best that we can hope for, right? Was
Yeah.
it a good action? No. But I wish no ill harm on anyone. And so
No,
um,
I hope he gets the help that he needs.
I do too. And I think the players are in a good direction.
The players, his wife, his kids, everyone.
Just staying focused on that journey ahead and what's to come is what's important. Any final thoughts here on this episode, Rob? I know this was kind of a big one, but it had to be done.
Yeah. No, it seems like a lot of uh, things are challenges are coming about, and next episode will probably be a little bit more challenging as well.
It will be, but it'll be important like all our episodes. But
Yep.
with that being said, this is Expandabilities Meets. This is the podcast where mindset, resilience, and real conversations help shape complete athletes. Stay tuned as we continue to have these types of conversations, talking about situations within the sports industry, especially related to mental health and uh, people. That's really what it comes down to, experiences. But I'm Alex,
Robert,
and this is Expandabilities Meets. See you next time.
peace.